Hey you guys, so this is a little bit different of a video. This isn't a snake video, but more of my records for my snakes. I'm a little bit new to this. This is a system that I made though, and it's been working thus far. Though if you have any ideas, feel free to comment on it. So this book contains all the feeding for all my snakes, both corn snake and Brazilian rainbow boas. When I get more snakes, each species will have its own notebook, but since I only have such a few, it's not that big of a deal. And I will note that once a month at this point, I actually go to the computer and go to Excel and update them and actually put it in the computer. So, on to explaining my crazy methodology. On the corner right here is what it actually is. The key. This is a key that's only on the first page. 1 R next to it means it was refused, and 2 R's with the date in parentheses was when it was regurged, if the meal was actually regurged. Although I have had neither of these happen thus far, so you will not see an example of that. The name of the snake, the gender, the birth date, and the ID number I've given it. And again, I've told myself it's a feeding schedule, just to really make sure I know what the heck is on what I'm doing and what notebook I'm in. So the first column is the date they're fed, how many they were fed, what they were fed, and the total weight of the prey item that they were fed. And this is Rose Red's feedings. And as you can see, for quite a while actually, I actually had more feedings before September 17th. It started October 27th. August 27th is when it should have started. But I didn't keep feeding records when I first got her. So she was only on 2-gram pinkies for a long time because I was buying from Petco until I started ordering from Land Labs and I got the 3-gram pinkies in. Which actually I didn't get 3-gram pinkies in until October 28th because these was 1.5 pinkies of the 2 grams, so that equaled 3 grams. And I do weigh all of my prey items, so they are not. It's not a guessed or kind of calculated. I actually weigh it and plus it. So on to the next notebook. This notebook is the shedding and the weight notebook. And the weight is very simple. I put the dates on one side and the actual weight on the other. I try to weigh her about once a week, but I'm not as diligent on it. I try also to weigh her when after she has defecated, because I don't think having stuff in her digestive system is really accurate to her true weight. So I wait till they defecate. And if she doesn't, and if I know for sure she has not defecated, I will put in parentheses, did not defecate. And here's a shedding schedule. This day is actually when I see the shed off of her. This is not the day she's in blue. This is not the day when she's in the clear stage. This is when it's actually shed. So I can use 2 of these if I want to look at one of my snake's progress, or if I'm thinking about upping a prey size. I will correlate the weight. The shed schedule really doesn't go into par very much, and what they've been eating thus far. And with feeding, I kind of do a gradual way about it. When I go to 1 to 2, I usually do a halves in between, and then I will go to 2. And then there's 1 3-gram pinky, because they're bigger than the 2-gram pinkies. So point being is I try to make a gradual approach is how I do things. She doesn't grow the fastest. There are faster methods, but I try to be a little bit easier. Although I believe I am more aggressive than other people are. I have seen on the forums where people are actually a lot more conservative than I am, and I've seen people a lot more aggressive than I am. Which, no method is completely wrong. So another example is Anoxina moons. This is my Brazilian rainbow boa, which you'll see there's a BRB there, just to remind me that this is not a corn snake. Her ID number, the year that she was born, and there you go. And this is a very similar chart. There you go. This is L1 and L2s. L1s actually right now. And L2s. And as you can see, I was actually using pen. And I did not know she was in blue until I already wrote it down, because I write it down before I feed them. So I actually had to scratch that out and put a note to myself that she was in blue, and that's why it was scratched out. Not because it was a regurg, not because it was fused, or not because I was confused and put it on a day that wasn't actually a feeding day, but because she was actually in blue. And there's also a note on L2 as well that on the 3rd, I noticed there's no defecation, so the 8 grams I don't believe to be an accurate weight. So that's just a little note, and that's how I do things. So feel free in the comments below to share how you do things, and maybe, I don't know. But I'm always up to suggestions, like I said. I'm still a little bit new at this. So until later, I shall bid you all adieu.